Alright guys, what do we have coming up on this week's Week in Review video? Leo?
US-China talks.
Roman?
Quantitative easing.
Alright Leo, what's next?
GE pensions.
Roman?
Libra.
And finally, what's the last one, Leo?
Race to zero.
Alright, stay tuned for all those headlines and more.
Lights, camera, action.
Welcome to your Mixtape and Week in Review video for Sunday, October 13th, 2019. As you can see, we've got the whole gang here. We were just over at Mom's store right across the way doing a photo shoot for the winner, and I decided to bribe the boys with some donuts that they'd come help me do today's video. So let's real quickly get into the headlines that may or may not be impacting your financial plan and your portfolio. Leo, what's the first topic?
US-China talk.
That's right, this is an ongoing saga. I don't know, Leo, if you've been watching these videos, but we've talked about this a lot. US and China are going through kind of a trade war, and they're trying to negotiate things through. This week we had some positive news, at least in the short term. I've talked about the cycle before of good news, bad news, good news, bad news, and the market's getting whipsawed around. But at least here we have what appears to be, they're calling a skinny deal. So we have a little bit of a deal going forward. We have some tariffs that won't be going into effect next week. So we'll see if this momentum continues, or if this is another head fake of what we've seen in the past. Roman, what's next up?
Quantitative easing.
Do you know what quantitative easing is?
No.
Alright, so for those of you that remember the crisis in 2008, 2009, you might remember quantitative easing as a way that the Federal Reserve helped us get out of the recession. So real quick, the quantitative easing basically is the Federal Reserve, which kind of controls the money supply. They buy US bonds, which puts more money into the system. So there's more money in there. If I'm buying bonds from you, I give you cash, then it goes into the system. Does that make sense? So people can spend it. So quantitative easing is a way to kind of move the economy along and boost things. And they're starting to buy these bonds back, the Treasury's back, but Federal Chairman Powell said this is not in fact quantitative easing. So it's like they're trying to change the definition, but nonetheless this is going to be going on. So you might be reading articles about the Fed enacting a new QE policy, when technically the actions are saying it's quantitative easing, but they're viewing it in a different way. We'll see. But that is a headline that's out there. You'll see the article from the Wall Street Journal. It was worth noting and something to pay attention to, because we also talked about the repo rates a couple weeks ago. So the Fed is doing some other things right now beyond just the interest rate control. What's up next, Leo?
GE pensions.
Good job. Pensions was a word he was nervous about. He nailed it. So GE announced that they're going to be freezing pensions for a bunch of the members. And I only bring this up because for younger clients and younger viewers and listeners, the future of pensions is probably going away, which just means there's more importance on our financial planning and retirement planning that we're going to need to take care of ourselves. So not a huge topic I really want to talk a lot about, but it is a headline. Here in the Midwest, we have a lot of people that worked for GE. Anderson, which is a little bit further north of Fishers where we live, used to be a big GE town, and it's since kind of no longer that way. So just worth noting. Roman, what's next?
Libra.
Do you know what Libra is?
No, but it sounds, of course, it sort of sounds like liberty. It
Liberty?
kind of sounds like a zebra.
Zebra kind of sounds like a zebra. I get that. So Libra is Facebook's version of a cryptocurrency, and they came out earlier this year, and they were going to create. You know Bitcoin, right? You know Bitcoin, right? So they were going to create something similar to Bitcoin, but only through Facebook. And they had a lot of big backers like Visa, MasterCard, all these big financial companies that have since pulled out. So it looks like Facebook's efforts to create this digital currency, like a cryptocurrency, is not going to happen. So Libra is having some struggles. It was a big deal earlier in the year, a lot of excitement and then some nervousness about it. But right now it looks like Libra may not happen. And then the final topic, what we got?
Race to zero.
Race to zero. So as we talked about in the past, fees in the financial services profession are being compressed. And as of the last couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of the major custodians cut all commissions on ETFs and stocks. So TD Ameritrade, Fidelity just joined, Charles Schwab, they're all going to zero for stock and ETF trading, which could be a good or bad thing. I talked about it in the weekend review or the rundown, that it's good for some people because that was a barrier, but also it may not be a good thing from a behavioral standpoint. If you know you have to pay $5 or $6 to buy a stock, it might make you think about it. but if you don't have to pay anything, that friction kind of goes away. But nonetheless, we're seeing this go down to zero. I think at the end of the day, it brings other costs down, which is a good for everybody. So watch the race to zero as other things come on. There are other companies like Altruist, which is working with financial advisors, which is also driving costs lower for advisors, which will then pass down to consumers and to our clients as well. Silas has a lot of excitement about that, don't you? Yep, okay. All right, well, since he's starting to go, we've hit all the articles from this week. Be sure to check the Mixtape articles down below. Thanks for putting up with a little bit of nonsense from this guy today. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Again, check the Mixtape, a lot of great blog posts. If you're not following already, follow the RLS Wealth Management Rundown on your Amazon device. I do a short version of this weekend review video every day, audio only. You can add it to your news and then you don't miss out on anything. So with that, you guys ready to go get some donuts?
Yep.
All right, have a great day and we'll see you in the next episode.
Lights out, camera off, and cut.
Thank you guys. You guys did good.